You ever wonder what happened to apprenticeships? I mean, apprenticeships being a commonality as opposed to, yes, they still exist, but they're not kind of the norm. And I'm talking about the idea that there's an expert, right? And they take on a pupil and they teach them their ways. I think in art especially, but it can apply to doctors and it can apply to other stuff as well. We really need that because oftentimes, like, yes, there's schooling and stuff like that, but even with that, we just thrust people into work situations and stuff like that and really leave them to fend on their own. And, one of my big things, especially in this day and age of AI and stuff like that, is we're going to lose the craft, right? Regardless, like, however you feel about AI, we can't just offload everything to it if we don't know what we're looking for, right? Here's a very specific example. I'll get resumes all the time of people and, they're like, hey, can you look at it? And I look at it and it's atrocious. And I'm like, you had AI write this, didn't you? And they're like, yeah, why is that bad? I'm like, well, there's nothing inherently bad with it. It's just, you don't know what a good resume is. And then because you didn't know how to prompt the AI and stuff like that, it gave you a bad resume, right? So it's not like we can just offload this stuff and just have it turn out good stuff. If you're writing a screenplay, whatever it is, you kind of have to know the damn craft regardless of the tools that you're using. And that's why I think apprenticeship is even more necessary than ever. To really just elevate people and continue these just best practices in all areas. And it's kind of scary that we're getting away from that. Like the education part in a lot of jobs is really just non-existent, at least from my vantage point. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we just kind of expect people to go and do this. If there is training, it's very minimal. It's just, here, do this, and it's not with context or things of that nature. So I think we really need to start to change that. And, yes, it's a system-wide issue, but it doesn't mean, in lieu of changing the system, why not, in the words of Gandhi, be the change you wish to see? And so oftentimes, when I work with people, no matter who it is, I try to make sure that they understand as much as possible and I educate them as much as possible and allow them for questions and things like that. And yes, it definitely takes more effing time to do that. It really does. And we feel the pressure of the world with these effing deadlines and this and that and blah, 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 and faster, better, faster, blah, blah, blah. But we just have to resist and know that the time that we put into it up front will yield results. There's this tangential, but it's related, where the cost of turnover in companies is so much worse than just keeping an employee, right? Like giving a person a raise and stuff like that, because the more they have to find somebody to replace somebody, it's more costly, literally financially. So this is my rallying cry that we need more apprenticeships in the world, and why not start with ourselves to be the change.